What up, fam? So, I finally got my hands on the Horizon Zero Dawn remastered edition, the remaster of the first game on PS5. Found that at Best Buy for about 50 bucks, which again, a normal PS5 game is 70, so this is still cheaper compared to its, fellow PS5 games. So I picked this guy up, and this is like a legendary game, so I definitely have to play this. I put it in, the disk drive. I'm kind of downloading it, getting it ready. So anyway, who's heard of Squirrel with a Gun? Anyone playing Squirrel with a Gun? Yeah, no. So here's a funny story. So I have like the good game in my disk drive. It's downloading. It's taking a while to get ready for me to play. And I go on the PlayStation Store. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just kind of browse and just like, hey, I'm not gonna buy anything. I already have a game to play. I'm just gonna kind of go on the store, see what's on sale, or see if there are any like crazy or weird games on the PlayStation Store. And something immediately catches my eye. There's a game. It's so simple yet complex. It's so like genius. Like it's all it's unabashedly stupid, unabashedly fun. It's right there in the title. Squirrel with a Gun. That's as far as the developers' thought process went with. They just probably were having a few drinks at the bar, wrote something down on a napkin, and said, "Oh, Eureka! We've got it! We've got it! Eureka! We have like the formula. Squirrel, gun, let's go." And I click on it. I watch the trailer. I'm like, "Holy shit! This indie game." And it's on sale. It's on sale. It's less than $20. It's only $13. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. So I buy that, and of course that's the one I boot up first. That's the one I kind of wanted to play first. So I'll get to the real game very soon, guys. But yeah, this video will be about the game that I'm playing currently. I promised I wouldn't do this. I said I wouldn't do this, chat. I'm sorry. I said I'd play real games. I said I'd play like legit good legendary games that I need to catch up on all these like legendary games. And I will. This isn't going to be like the other consoles I got where I would just buy random stupid weird indie games on the eShop all day and not play like legendary games like Mario Odyssey. Like, yeah, no, I have so many dumb weird Switch games. I still haven't played Mario Odyssey. I said I wouldn't do this for the PS5. I got a real system, a real modern console. I'm gonna play real games. But Squirrel, give me one. Just give me one bullshit stupid indie game to fool around with while I play like my real games. Okay, that's it. I'm cutting myself off. I'm setting a limit. This is the limit. I can play one. Okay. I'm just doing one. I'll play real games too. I'm gonna play Horizon. I swear. I'll play Returnal. I swear. But Squirrel with a Gun, it was calling my name. It was calling out to me, so I had to pick it up, and it was on sale. Okay, it's not even like I spent that much money on it. But yeah, Squirrel with a Gun. It's an indie game dropped on Windows first. It dropped on PC back in August of last year. Then a couple months later, it came to PS5 and Xbox Series X. It's only on modern consoles. Yeah, so. And that's why I was like kind of surprised by like this little indie thing. I was like, couldn't it be on like Switch? Couldn't there be a Switch port? Couldn't there be like a PS4 port or Xbox One port? Actually no. Actually I don't think so, because listen, I don't want to exaggerate here. I mean, again, I'm new to the PS5 console. Like I still don't fully know what it's capable of. But I'm playing Squirrel with a Gun, man. You're not going to believe me, but like the graphics are really good. The graphics are kind of astounding. Like I'm playing it. It's made in Unreal Engine. Like the game, the physics are solid. The game looks great. Yeah, like when you're playing as this little squirrel, and he's very realistic. His fur is very detailed. His movements are very like he can run. He can run like a squirrel would run, but like when you lightly tap on the controller, like control stick, he'll like slowly pounce across the. It's really the control stick is very sensitive. It's very well done. It's very well done. But yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy listen, like you got to know what you're getting yourself into here. Like the title says it all. Like we're just here to have fun. We're just here to make a dumb little game that people are going to have fun with. And that's it. No one's playing this game and saying, "Hey, the plot wasn't very convincing," or like I didn't really connect with any of these characters. No. That's not what this game is. Okay, this game is. I mean, there is a story. There's not much of a story. Like the only thing I can compare this to in my mind, I played a game years back. Look this one up because I highly recommend this one. This one, okay. In the weird subgenre of whatever the hell Squirrel with a Gun is in, let's just call it like the animal GTA genre, animal sim GTA genre. Okay, I'd put Untitled Goose Game in there as well, like a sandbox game where you're just like an animal running amok, you know. Um, but look up a game called Maneater. Okay, look up a game called Maneater. It's basically GTA, but you're a killer shark. Yeah, no, it's great. Like immediately people are like looking this game up and they're gonna download it. Yeah, like no, if you can find it on sale, get Maneater. That's like a 9 out of 10. That's like a 9 out of 10 legendary, example of that subgenre. Like because that game is so fun and it has like RPG elements and like I'm not kidding. And that game had more of a story mode than I was expecting. Maneater, I mean, like yeah, there were like cutscenes, there was dialogue, there was a story. I mean, it wasn't like a super complex story, but there was a story, which I wasn't really expecting, to be honest with you. Yeah, I love Maneater, so I don't want to make this video about Maneater, but I just had to mention for comparison's sake. Like, yeah, no, this game is no Maneater. I mean, maybe it'll get there one day. But yeah, it's good though. It's solid. It's a sandbox game with solid physics. Okay, let me back up. Let me give you the bare bones of what plot there is. So you're a squirrel. Okay, you wander into this clandestine government facility, this little underground bunker or something, and they have this like device that's like under a cage or whatever. And from the squirrel's point of view, the device looks like a giant freaking acorn. So he's now like on a mission to eat this acorn, and he does. He basically does. And at this point, he has like this whatever valuable tech inside of him or whatever, and that's why like the doors open and all of these Agent Smiths from the Matrix pop out. All of these government suits pop out with their guns, cocked, and they're gonna hunt you down. They want their technology back. And basically what happens in the first cutscene is this agent like trips and drops his gun, and the squirrel picks up the gun, and there you go. Now you have a game. Again, it's not very complicated. I mean, there is, like I just said, there is a bare bones plot. There's a reason. There's something that you're fighting for. There's an evil organization that's after you, and there's a reason they're after you, and that's about it. My only gripe so far is that, like the combat's kind of repetitive and weak. The combat's not great, and the enemies are literally the same agent, the same Agent Smith character over and over and over again. So that gets kind of old. But it's not just you don't just have a gun, and I'm not even, I'd say maybe I'm halfway through the game, so if there's anything more of note to say, I'll make another video about like the ending of the game and the post game and stuff. But yeah, I'm about, I'd say, halfway through the game. So it's a short game, but I'm like halfway through the game. I just got through the first boss battle. There's like only like 2 boss battles, I think. But yeah, so I'm about halfway through the game. But yeah, so there are probably more weapons to unlock, but so far you get your gun, okay? You can get like a Cowboy 6 shooter, so that's pretty cool. You can get a shotgun. You can get a freaking SMG, like a machine gun. And each gun, handles differently, and they okay. Here's where the game I think is kind of brilliant. So even though I don't really like the combat's only part of the game, okay? Platforming is a huge part of the game as well. It's a 3D platformer as well, like a Banjo-Kazooie, if you will, because you're running around collecting acorns, collecting all these hidden collectibles and shit, because you're trying to find all these golden acorns. And this is my little interpretation, but going by the first cutscene, I think because he ate that device thinking that it looked like an acorn. I think you just keep eating government shit. I think you just keep eating technology, because he keeps on seeing these giant acorns the same way he saw it in the first cutscene. So even though it shows him like eating these acorns, I think he just keeps eating like machinery. I don't know if that's gonna like go somewhere. Like, is he gonna become like a cyborg squirrel by the end of the game? This game's so crazy. It could go anywhere. But yeah, so when it makes sense, like the physics are solid, so you have to be careful. So again, and it's so funny, like the humor in this game is great, but like imagine like you're a little squirrel holding a giant freaking handgun that's the size of you what do you think is going to happen when you fire it? There's a recoil, bitch. Like, you go flying back. So if you're not careful, like, you know, you got to be careful. You got to make sure there's like a brace behind you. There's like a, you know, a guardrail behind you, because when you fire, there's so many times where I killed myself because I forgot, like, oh yeah, there's nothing behind me, like, you know, nothing to keep me from flying off the platform. So you have to be I love it, because you have to be extra careful. Like, there's a little bit of strategy to you can't just like fire like willy-nilly like you're Rambo. Like, you have to be careful and strategic, and, you know, you have to save your ammo. You have to be smart. So I love that aspect of it. And also, the guns are used for platforming. So you have your standard jump, but when you're up in the air, you can point your gun down and fire, and he'll get a double jump out of it. And not just a double jump, like, it depends on, you know, depends on the gun you have. But if you like let loose with the SMG, like, as long as you have bullets in the clip, you're going, you know, it's like a jetpack, like, you know, you can get to the next platform. So you kind of, depending on what platform you need to get to, what kind of platforming challenge, you know, you choose the gun accordingly. So there's like that whole other element to it. It's crazy. Like, I love it. It just makes so much sense. But yeah, like, the physics are totally solid. Like, you feel the impact of the gun when you fire it. But yeah, combat. Okay, so like I said, combat's a little weak because you just keep fighting the same Agent Smiths. And you shoot them over and over, and they take pot shots at you. You can do this thing where you click on the right thumbstick, and you it's hard to explain, but like, so you have health, but next to your health you have like this, you know, you have a green health meter, but you have like a yellow energy meter, and that builds up from like either like killing people or doing special like moves. And when you fill it up, you can use it by clicking the right thumbstick, and you basically enter like this. Again, like a Matrix reference, you basically enter bullet time. Everything slows down, and you can like fire more precise shots. You can do more, you know, strategic maneuvers and stuff like that. It's real, and like, you know, as long as you have like that little yellow bar that's slowly running out, it's really cool. So there's that, and then when you do enough damage to an enemy, they'll be stunned. They'll kind of take a knee, and like the little triangle icon will appear, and you have to like run up to the guy, hit triangle, and you'll do a takedown. And each gun has a different takedown animation. So, you know, and it's always like, it's just like a little seasoning. It's just like the fatalities in Mortal Kombat. Like, you know, you run up and you like twist the guy's neck or something like that. But I love that. I love that there's a different animation depending on the gun you're using. However, even so, you're fighting so many enemies and you're doing so many of these takedowns, you are going to get tired of that animation, especially if like, oh, this level I only have the pistol. So you're going to keep seeing that same neck snap animation, you know what I mean? So like, it's kind of like, okay, you know, so that gets a little, but yeah, doing takedowns, I believe, recharges your bullet time meter. So yeah, but yeah, once you get out of that bunker, man, that's when like the neighborhood opens up, and like it's a GTA style open world game. Like, you can just go on missions and stuff. Like, it's crazy. Like, I climbed this, so there's like these flag poles that you can find, and like, it's like Assassin's Creed. Remember, like, you would climb up like a really freaking high structure and have like the eagle icon. You could use eagle vision, and like now Ezio can like map out that section of the city or whatever, because you have like the perfect vantage point. It's the same thing. You can find these flag poles, and then the squirrel can kind of like map out like, oh, here's like the objectives in this area, here's what I haven't done yet. It's like an Ubisoft game. There's even like little hay barrel, yeah, like little things of hay below the flagpole you can like jump into. Yeah, no, it is Assassin's Creed. It's literally Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Squirrel. But yeah, the missions vary. They can be fun. I think the funniest one. So if you're okay, so there you go into this house. This is my favorite mission, or my favorite little submission. You go into this house, and there's a guy who's like kind of complaining about his back or his neck. You know, he's got like, you know, whatever, back pain, and he's completely ignoring you, even though most enemies like usually attack you or whatever. And if you're unarmed, the takedown move, you can sneak up on a guy, hit triangle, and you'll snap his neck. Okay, so I'm trying to shoot him, that's not working. I'm trying all these things, and I'm like, all right, I'll try and snap his neck. So I run up his back like it's Shadow of the Colossus. I run up his back and I hit triangle, and he snaps his neck. But because the guy was having back pain, like then it says like, you know, chiropractor, and he gives you a golden acorn. So that was like a little secret mission. So I thought that was so funny. But yeah, the missions vary. One that I found super super annoying. There's one where you have to like you go into like this backyard where there's like a cookout. Yeah, and like so the dad's like, you know, grilling the hamburgers or whatever, and you have to light up this propane tank and make it explode, and that'll send the patties flying, and then you have to find the patties because people want their, like, you know, their burnt burgers. And here's the thing, the explosion sends the patties all willy-nilly like across like the neighborhood, and it took me forever like to find. You need to find 4. It's not even enough to just find one. I found one like across the street, and I thought that'd be because I gave it to the one girl. It's like, no, there's like 4 people at the table. They all need to be like happy, and then they'll give up the golden acorn. I'm like, oh my god. So I don't know. Am I gonna platinum this game? I don't know. There's some annoying missions, so I don't know if I'm gonna platinum this game. I am gonna platinum Astro's Playroom because I'm having so much fun with that. But yeah, I mean, ironically, so Astro's Playroom, I did a quick comparison. A free on the console pack-in game that's considered a tech demo has 51 trophies. Okay, 51 trophies. This game that I paid money for, that's like an indie game that's like considered a full, you know, game release. 20 trophies. Yeah, it has like 20 trophies. It's a short game. It's a really short game. There's not a whole lot, you know, content wise, but you know, I feel like you can only push this. The premise is already kind of losing its luster. It's like you can't make like a 40-hour RPG out of this. You know what I mean? So it's like we're already pushing it. So the last thing I'll say is you have like certain things that are locked off to you until you have a certain amount of, you know, if you ever played a collectathon, you know how this goes. But you know, you'll have certain items or weapons that are locked off to you until you have enough acorns. So one thing you see right away when you first enter the world is like, enter the neighborhood, it's like, oh, you can get an RC car to drive around. Like, that's cool. But you need like, you know, whatever, 400 acorns. So it's like, oh shit, you know. So I finally got that. And that's crazy. That's really hard to control. You're driving around this RC car. It's fast as hell, going off ramps, and you can still get a gun, and you can still fire the gun. But now you're like using 2 different control sticks to like drive and also shoot, and also you can like fire the gun backward to give your car an extra boost forward. It's there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in that scenario. But that's a requirement for the boss battle. So let me back up a second. So this game does another thing that I really, really like. So while you're playing the game, in an earlier section, there's a cutscene suddenly, and this freaking tank rolls up. Okay, this freaking tank rolls up, and this dude pops out of the top of the tank, and he's wearing like a weird jacket, and it says, you know, dad or father on it or something. Yeah, father. Or excuse me, yeah, it says daddy on it on the back of the jacket. And he, you know, fires a shot off at you, and you just get blown to smithereens, basically. And then you like pick yourself back up, and he drives away into this like area that's like sealed off. And so you can't even get to him to challenge him until you get the RC card to like drive after him. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that because I love it when games actually. There's so many games. You'd be surprised how many games get this wrong, guys. But believe it or not, Squirrel with a Gun gets this right. Set up your boss battles, you know, set up your villains, you know what I mean? Where it's like, there's so many games where like you're playing and then all of a sudden like this giant skeleton comes out like, you know, or this monster like, you know, in like a worse game you'd be playing and all of a sudden this guy drives his tank and he starts shooting at you and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, Squirrel. And you're like, who's that? Like, what? Like, you know. And even when you defeat him, it's not satisfying because you're like, oh, okay, I killed this guy who randomly showed up out of nowhere, you know. No, like set him up. Set up, like they did it perfectly with this cutscene. He comes out of nowhere, he blows your ass up. Now you want revenge on this bastard, you know, you want to get him back, but you have to train up first. You have to get the car so you can go after him and finally get some payback. And now it's satisfying when you kill Daddy, you know. It's like so simple, you know. I'm not even saying the game did it like flawlessly, like, you know, but it did it, you know what I mean? But yeah, so set up your villain, set up your boss battle so that's satisfying when you actually beat the boss. It's not that hard, guys. Squirrel with a Gun did it. But yeah, So you chase the tank, and then there's this crazy freaking boss battle where you're trying to fight this tank, and like these enemies keep spawning, these minions keep spawning, and there's like a force field around the tank, so you have to like shoot out the wheels of the tank so that the force field will go down temporarily. And then it like, I think because the way the battle starts, you're in your car. I think you're supposed to be in the car, but like there's too much going. I had to get out of that car right away. Like I jumped right out because it's too hard. It's too complicated to drive and shoot at the same time and hop and go off ramps and it's like, and you're like trying to hit specific parts of the boss while he's shooting at you, and there's all these minions. Like no, absolute chaos. And I watched another YouTuber play it, Jacksepticeye, and he got out of the tank, or excuse me, he got out of the car right away too. So like, I don't think anyone like stayed in the car. It's too hard. It's too hard. But yeah, like I don't know. Like one thing I'll say, I was reading some reviews. Most people were like kind of lukewarm on the game. I mean, it's a dumb game. Don't get me wrong, but IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. I think it's better than that. Like I said, for what it is, Maneater's a 9 out of 10. This game, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's solid. It's absolutely solid. It's not, a masterpiece by any means, but I'm having so much fun. And I reserve the right to change my score, but like so far, I have nothing but positives. I was reading in some reviews that people were having tons of technical problems, game-breaking glitches, shit like that. That I had, believe it or not, I've had no issues at all. I've had no crashes. Like people were talking about like, oh, the game crashed and I didn't save, so I had to like, restart the level and it sucked. Like, game breaking glitches during the boss battle. Like, I mean, I guess either I've been super lucky with that, or again, I'm playing it late on the PS5. Perhaps like when it first released on Steam, when it was first on the PC, it had all these problems, but they got patched out later before the console release. I don't know. All I can tell you is like my personal experience. I haven't had any technical problems at all, actually, which I'm surprised by, because I'd heard this game was like kind of a glitch fest. So maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. Maybe all the glitches happened in the second half of the game. I don't I don't know. One thing that did piss me off, and this was kind of like, I get it, because like this whole idea is the game is a throwback. The game is like totally a throwback to, like I said, those collectathon platformers like Banjo-Kazooie. You have to manually save in this game. You have to find checkpoints. You have to find these little squirrel feed things and like spin around on them and knock all the nuts out, and then you can save your game. Which, that's how it was back in the day. But at the same time, it's freaking annoying as hell. It's 2025 and I can't like autosave. I have to manually save my game. It's a little annoying. And I didn't know that at first, so it was super annoying, because I started this game the previous night. Okay, I started this game last night, and I got pretty far. I was in like the underground bunker, like that tutorial level, and I got like almost towards the end, but I was like, okay, I'll come back to this later. So I turned the game off. I closed the game, thinking it would autosave, because why wouldn't it? But the first save point isn't until after the tutorial. After the tutorial stage, when you first enter the town, that's where your first save point is. So if you close the game before finishing the first level, like I did, you don't save. You don't have anything saved. You don't get jack shit. You have to start from the beginning. And I was almost done the first level, so it was really annoying. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, why didn't it autosave? So, I wouldn't say that's worth docking a full point for, but that is an annoyance that you need to keep in mind. This game is an intentional throwback, so it's going to have little quirks like that, little things like that. Just be sure to save, especially before a boss battle. Make sure you save, because, I'm sure that got a couple people. They thought they saved, and then they fought the tank and blew up, and, oh, they're back outside. Uh-oh, there goes all that progress. But yeah, the first boss battle against Daddy was fire. It gets fucking crazy. The squirrel is doing like the Akira bike slide and firing off his submachine gun, and like everyone's dying and blowing up, and like it's great. I don't know how you can top that. The first villain you fight is Daddy. I can only assume. I mean, this isn't a hard to predict game, and I've already read that I'm halfway through and that there's only 2 boss battles. I'm gonna make a prediction that the second boss is Mommy, and it'll be a woman, and she will be maybe not in a tank, maybe she'll be in like a helicopter or like a speedboat with a Gatling gun or something, you know, something like that. You know, I would be shocked if I'm wrong about that. So that's my prediction. But yeah, like I said, Squirrel With A Gun, it's on sale right now. If you can still find it for $13, pick it up. It's fun. Give it a try.